Hey guys, welcome back. This is the Bitcoin market review for November the 2nd, 2022. And before we get into the price action, we look at the economic calendar. And for yesterday, there were two high impact news events. One was at 8:15, non-farm employment change, and then another two high impact news events, one at 2 p.m. and 2:30 p.m., which were FOMC related. And as you can see, the 8:15 one, it was a bigger candle right here, taking out both the high and the low of this candle. And then FOMC, you can see that's the 2 p.m. candle, huge candle taking out both sides, the lows and the highs. And then at 2:30 we have another big candle right here. So FOMC always has a huge impact on price, and it tampers with price a lot. And you can see that right here, it took out both sides, the lows and the highs. But yeah, with that said, I think we should get into the setups. And pretty much there were only setups in the early morning, and then around after FOMC there were two more setups. But overall, price action yesterday prior to FOMC was quite tight. You know, not that much movement, which makes sense. If they push price around at FOMC, definitely don't want to move price too much prior to that. So yeah, now let's get into it. And the first setup is very early morning. It's at 1 a.m. Right here, you can see this high right here, which pushed above the early morning highs, or early morning highs. So the half past midnight high right here, and the high prior to the close yesterday. Price pushed above that and then moved down lower, and this move down lower broke market structure, broke this low. I'll zoom in so you can see. Here you can see it broke that low, and then it pushed up again, and here we have a fair value gap right here. Quite a small one, but still, if I manage to draw it out. So you can see there's a fair value gap. Price pushes into it, reprices it. Now also use the Fib tool. We can see price pushes back up into a premium, and it pushes above the bodies of these candles, so it, into the rejection block, because there are long wicks above, so price pushes above it, rejection block, and then into the rejection block, takes the liquidity up there, and then continues down lower. So just a quick setup in the early morning on the 3 minute, and then on this move down we have another setup on the 1 minute. You can see price drops down, moves down, has not taken out this low yet, but it's drawing for it, or drawing towards it. Here we can see we have a little retracement up and then another breakdown. And this breakdown right here, broke market structure again. We also have a fair value gap up here. And if we use the Fib tool, we also can see price pushes back up into a premium, reprices the fair value gap, touches the up close candle, which is the order block, and then it continues down lower. Eventually, here it consolidates, and eventually it breaks down lower to take out this low and this low right here. So that's a nice setup. If you would have missed the setup up here, that was another nice setup to catch this down move. Okay. These were the two early morning setups, and now we jump to a setup at 8 a.m. right here. Here we have another break lower, then a consolidation, and then price pushes back up into this up move right here, which is an order block on a higher time frame, and then starts to break down again. And in this breakdown again, or in this down leg, we have another setup. right here. We have a fair value gap. If we use the fib tool now, we can see price pushes back up into a premium, reprices the fair value gap, moves into this up close candle, which is the order block right here, this candle, and then it continues down lower. You know, pushes down, takes out these lows, and then it comes up into this premium again, and then it starts to consolidate a bit towards the market open. And you can see this big down candle was the 8:15 news event right here. This one, this was this big down candle right here, and with this setup you could have called this down movement. So this setup is to be taken with care, as it is very close to a high impact news event, so just keep that in mind. But overall it's a nice setup, and I believe it's worth journaling. Okay, and with that we have done all the setups in the morning, and now we jump to FOMC, and actually let's look at it on a higher time frame. Okay, so what we can see is price pushed up prior to FOMC, consolidated a bit, and then it moves down a bit, and then at FOMC we continue down lower first, taking out all the lows here, taking the liquidity below these lows, and then price eventually starts to push up to take out all the highs right here. And this is the 2 p.m. candle right here. Price pushes then up, up, and then at 14:30 we had another high impact news event, which was the FOMC press conference. And at the FOMC press conference at 14:30 they ran price up once more above the highs we just created, and then they started to push down price lower. And in this push down lower we actually have two setups I'm gonna show to you. And the first one is here, this one. So we have the 14:30 price pushes up first, and then drive price lower, and this drive lower left behind a big fair value gap right here. Price then pushed back up into the premium, into the fair value gap, stayed here for a couple of candles, and then continued down lower. And here we have two consecutive entries, this being the first one. I also should point out, yes, we broke market structure, with this candle and with this candle. So these two lows were broken. There's another low right here which was broken. So yeah, we have a shift in market structure. Now we're looking for lower prices, and we have this long wick right here. So we expect price to run this low we just created at 2 p.m. So yeah, price breaks down, comes back up into the fair value gap, into a premium, reprices it, and then pushes it down lower. And this push down lower, actually that's the low I should take, is another setup. Right here we have another fair value gap right here. Price pushes back up into a premium, into the fair value gap, pushes into the up close candle, and then continues lower. And actually we can look at these setups on the 1 minute chart as well. Actually, let's look at the previous one again, as we can refine it here a little bit. Like this. Okay, perfect. Because on the 1 minute the fair value gap is a little bit smaller, it's a little bit more refined, and we can see price pushes up into this fair value gap, touches it with 2 wicks, actually 3 wicks, this as well, and then it continues down lower. And now let's look at the next setup. We can refine this as well. Okay, nice fair value gap up here. We can see price pushes back up, reprices the fair value gap, and then you can see there is an up close candle right here, which is the order block. price pushes into it, touches it, and then it continues down lower to eventually take out the 2 p.m. low right here. Continues down lower, takes out the low, and then price starts to consolidate a bit. So there were no more setups in this movement right here. So yeah, that has been all the setups in yesterday's price action. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed them. I hope you did not get caught up in FOMC. Always be aware of that. FOMC usually has huge impact on price. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, leave a like. And yeah, I hope I see you guys again. I hope you're safe. And yeah, bye.